stream to that event anymore.
So can you
So
just
it's
start a new one?
I just started a new one. All right, we should be back here. It's perfect streaming all across the board.
Oh.
Oh boy. Well, that was fantastic.
That
Take
was
3, right?
fun.
Take
Jeez.
3.
What's going on?
Let's talk really fast so we can get a show on and before they cut us off again.
No kidding.
Right.
Jeez.
So good morning again. Thanks
Good morning.
for everybody who's
Third time's the charm here.
tuning in again.
Third time's the charm. I'm trying to get it pulled up on here.
Yeah, I got it over
Everything's
here
going a
now.
little
Now we're
funky.
good. Now Zach, you're in your little box.
Yep, I'm in my little box.
That's where Zach needs to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zach
Just
needs
stay
to be
there.
in his little
Just stay
box.
there.
Morning, Ty.
Good morning.
Good morning,
How's Ty
Ty.
doing?
Hey everybody, this is Ty Cornell. He is the man. He's excited to be here. Are you excited to be here? We're excited
ecstatic.
to have you. Ecstatic.
You're very ecstatic. I'm pretty sure your exact words before starting were, "I don't want to be here."
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show.
Oh, there we go. Tony's
You're on
on.
camera.
Brantner's on.
Nick's on. Morning,
There we
Nick.
go.
Brian's
All
on.
right, we're
It's
working.
working.
Woo!
So no pressure. Tony Malika
Uh-oh.
is watching this today, so don't mess up your bass talk.
Morning, Tony.
Morning, guys. So, anyways, why Ty's sitting here this morning is because he has a pile
All new bass stuff.
of Megabass lures.
It's not all Megabass. It's mostly all Japanese, correct?
Mostly
Fish
Megabass
Some
and
Japanese
some other
stuff.
Japanese products.
Morning,
but
Larry.
Mostly Megabass.
So we're officially calling today Megabass Monday,
Yeah.
even though we're not just going to be strictly talking about Megabass. What we're
But Matt likes all his coin days.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
big thing for Matt. He likes
well,
that.
we're excited. I mean,
Makes him feel happy.
you look outside. We're getting another 6 to 12 inches of snow in the next couple days. We got ice fishing going on solid. Let's try to bring some warmer weather by talking about warmer weather events like bass fishing.
Do you think that actually works,
I
Matt?
do think. What was the verdict? Did the groundhog see his shadow?
I don't know.
I don't know, actually.
Google it.
Google it.
Put it on the Google meter.
I think it's supposed to be an early spring.
Yes.
Whatever that means, he sees it or doesn't see it.
I thought that means he doesn't see it.
I
Because
don't
if he
know.
sees his shadow, he goes back in, and that means there's a longer winter.
Probably just wants.
By the groundhog not seeing a shadow, and Ty in here, and you are talking about bass fishing.
Right.
Spring will probably start after this
Maybe.
snowstorm.
But okay, so we were going to talk a little bit about the weekend, right?
Yep.
So I've watched that AAF league,
Yes.
Yep.
football league this weekend. You guys
Yes.
watched that a little bit. Zach
Yes.
was all
Yep.
jacked about it.
Yeah,
It was
we were.
pretty sweet.
It was looked. I liked it.
Cause the only reason I bring that up is that's still fall. That's still like a fall winter sport, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just
Right.
hanging
Yeah.
on a little longer.
Well, and we got Troy Polamalu who's part of the owners on that thing too. He's
Like
head
the,
of
like
pl-
the shampoo hair
yeah,
guy.
yeah. He's head of your player relations and stuff
Wow.
like that.
Crazy.
Why did they come up with that league?
I have no idea.
So this is what I found. Okay, I did a little bit of Wikipediaing last night, and they were trying to revive the XFL. Is what the idea
Oh.
was.
Is Vince McMahon involved in
Not
this?
at all.
No.
Not that I'm
No,
aware
here's
of.
here's your executive.
He was going to be. It was like a thing that they had talked to him with him to create the new XFL league, and that didn't go well. And there was a lot of disagreement, it sounded like. So they created the AAF, which is made up of a ton of ex-NFL employees, NFL players,
Alliance
NFL.
of American Football.
Yes.
See, but the difference between what I saw watching these two games yesterday, I know there was games on Saturday, right?
as well. Yep.
I remember I went to an XFL game because back in the day I was a huge WWE,
Right.
like, in school and whatever. I went to actually to Soldier Field to watch an XFL game. This was actually good football.
Yeah, that's what they're going for. They wanted to take the spin of. It sounds like they want to take the spin off of the NFL. Get out of there where all of it's becoming. Let's be honest, it's overprocessed. There's a lot of bubblegum rules going on.
Right.
Get rid of all that and bring it back to true American football, where football started. Give it some new rules. Give it new life to the sport. Make it a little bit more upbeat, so there's no kickoff. So the first major difference, there's no kickoff in the beginning of the game.
I think it's an awesome rule.
So you flip the coin. If you called correct, you get to give or receive. And
Where
if
do you start the ball?
25-yard
25,
line.
okay.
Because
Right,
Which
we're
I think like
touchback-
90% of
yeah.
the time, that's
Right.
where it starts.
That's where-
anyways.
exactly.
Did
So
you watch
they're
any
just
of
like,
that
what's the
stuff?
point?
I did not.
No, you're in the gym playing basketball again
I
this
was.
week? All right. Well, yeah, so I thought it was super cool. And the other things, too, was like there was some people commenting on social media. There was a hit after the quarterback threw the ball.
He lost his helmet.
Yeah.
He hit him so hard the quarterback's helmet looked like it just went boop. It
Yeah.
just went flying.
But there was
Absolutely.
no penalty.
No, it was awesome. It was an actual. It was a clean hit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Yep.
a second after
The
he
way,
threw it or
the way
whatever.
football should
But
be.
it looked like football from 1980.
Yes.
where
Right.
The
you
way
actually
football-
got tackled. It
Yes.
was awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
It was awesome.
And
So-
now, Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So the one thing to be in mind is there's only 8 teams.
Okay,
So there's
yep.
a West Coast and an East Coast, basically, or divisions. And with that, I think there's going to be more teams cropping up here and there.
Well, I
Just
think
because,
they've got to kind of get a foothold, right? I mean,
Right.
there wasn't a ton of people in the stands.
No, it was.
So it looked like an XFL game from that standpoint because
Right.
there was nobody there.
Right.
But I think from the, if you really like football, this is football. It's
Yeah.
better than no football. I don't, I
Right.
mean, there's always that argument. Well, their players aren't as good. You're right. They're not the NFL players. I
Right.
think there's some of those guys that are maybe trying to make the NFL if they
Right,
kind
and
of
that's the thing is it makes it a new avenue too for them to get to the NFL.
yeah.
But I mean, a lot of them are retired NFL players. A lot of them are NFL players who are just no longer with
Well,
the
and
NFL.
I saw a stat yesterday that said 81% of the players in that league have signed NFL contracts or have in the past signed an NFL
Oh,
contract.
really?
I think a lot of them were like late round draft picks that just didn't quite make the cut.
Yep.
But there's still, I mean, you got to imagine. I mean, there's a lot of kids play football, go down to 30 whatever teams, 32 teams. I mean, there's still a lot of really
Yep.
good football players
Yep.
out there just because they don't
Right.
play for an NFL team. And I thought it was really good football.
Right. I think it was actually it was nice just because of the fact that it felt raw. It felt
Yeah.
fresh. You
See,
know,
what
there was no
what I took out of it was you could tell some of those guys were trying to still prove they could play.
Well,
Which is what you get out of college sports. You get out of
Yes.
college sports, those guys haven't made their money yet. So they're 100% all the time. They're going, go, 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 right?
right.
As soon as you get paid, okay, that's when they always take that back seat. I saw some of those running backs in those games yesterday. I mean, they were trucking 2-3 guys at a time. You don't see NFL guys do
No.
that because they're afraid of getting hurt.
Right, and that's the cool part. I mean, I saw plays being made. My wife was annoyed with me by the end of the game because I was yelling. I'm like, "That's how a play is made." I mean, there's
Right.
no. Well, there's 2 defenders right there, so I shouldn't run that way.
Well,
This
right.
dude's just like, let's get through them and find out how we're going to get that first down.
It was pretty cool.
Now, at first, I was a little disappointed with the game I watched yesterday with the Iron in Memphis. The first half of the game, it felt like the Super Bowl. There was all
just
kicks,
nothing going
100% kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, every score was kicks.
But now,
and
what
then-
were you saying about how long they had to put together these teams and stuff?
Yeah, so it sounded like they put it together in like all of like 30 days. They had to basically train and get ready for this
That's
kickoff
crazy.
event. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to hear that, but also seeing the cohesion that these guys had to each other. I mean, and the clarity too, or I should say the I don't know the. What's the proper word for that?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Like it was just clear. They showed you everything. There was
lost
no
Transparency?
transparency.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
That's what I was going for.
Big
There's
word
a
Monday.
ton of transparency. Every time the quarterback was calling plays or anything like that, the microphone is wired directly into the feed.
oh yeah.
You could hear everything
Yep.
that was going on in the huddles. Everything. There's absolutely.
No, they only had,
transparent.
30 seconds in between?
About 35.
So 35, so they
Yep.
shrunk that down, trying to get the game to be a lot faster, I think
Yep.
is what they were trying to do.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, it ended up being real football. I mean,
Yeah.
they looked professional. They looked like they went out there and made a ton
Well,
of
they got
plays
some
happen.
big names, like Steve Spurrier is one of the coaches.
Right.
The old college coach, Steve Spurrier. Mike Singletary was one of the guys, one of
Yep.
the coaches. So they got some guys, at least in the league, that know what they're doing. I mean, it's
Right.
not just a bunch of,
So I'm excited to see where it goes because I mean if they can create what I think they're going for, which would be that raw football feeling versus the commercialized football, and run 2 leagues together,
Yeah.
where you can have that real, if people want to get hurt and they're okay with getting hurt, they go here. If you want if you
right.
want millions of dollars and to walk up a field every 10 seconds, this is the
Well,
one
what
for you.
I found interesting was the second game yesterday was actually on the NFL Network.
Right. Yep.
That was just weird to me.
Why they would?
Well, they
would-
want the ratings because football's over, so they got to keep football
Right.
rolling
I
for the next
suppose,
12 weeks.
I suppose nobody. You can only listen to people talk about football for so long before you know.
Right.
So you could hear the play call.
You can
Yeah.
hear everything.
You can
So
hear the
wouldn't the
coaches
opposing
talking
team-
to.
Yep.
Well, I don't think.
Everything.
I mean, it's too hard to. I mean, could they have some feed listening to it? Yeah, but to try to get that back down to the
Right,
field in
in
10
Right.
seconds, you
in
don't have
the
enough
time.
time.
Now the
Yeah.
other thing I really liked was the play legality, with the Sky official in the box. Now he did on the first game make a bogus play. Everyone saw it. But having that other official off the field that can
Oh.
watch every camera feed, and this dude's literally just looking at all
Yeah.
these camera feeds to
Well, I
make sure
saw
the
one
plays
they
are
had
called
an
correctly.
instant replay or whatever, and they actually had a camera on the instant replay guy up in the booth
Yep.
talking to the officials. You could hear him
Yeah,
talk
that's
to the
the
officials.
Sky. That's the Sky
Oh, is
official.
that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Okay,
so he's
okay.
the one, and they messed up that play. I mean, that play,
Yeah, well,
the ball touched the ground.
Yeah, but look at the NFL refs. How many plays they messed
Yeah.
up this
I
year.
mean,
What's
they're not
the
a little
difference?
worse.
They're not going to be as good as us,
Oh,
right?
right.
I mean, it's only
Right,
their first
yeah.
time. I mean, our
Arm-
first time, we've been perfect here since day one.
Armchair quarterback. Well,
Right.
I think there's a couple people that are commenting on this kind of stuff, here. But my question is, I swore that on Saturday I heard that there's a different bonus structure for these players. So like they were commenting. I think the first game I watched ended off like they were up by 9 points, but they made a pick as the other team was driving down to help get them, the score closer. They picked the ball off in the end zone, and then the announcers are talking about how that guy, not only because he made a play for himself, the team is going to get rewarded, the defense is going to get rewarded with a bonus structure as well. Right. And I'm like, that's the way we've always been talking the NFL should be to help get these guys to play a lot harder and everything like that. So, I don't know if anybody commented on it, but that's what I thought was pretty cool. I mean, that's incentive, right? You want to get a raise at work? Well, work harder.
I agree.
Right.
Bring more wins home for your team, and everybody's going to win. So,
no, Tony said the XFL's still going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
A thing?
So if that's still
idea.
a thing, I definitely didn't know that was still going.
Is that like on? I didn't even know that was still a thing.
Yeah, either did I. Then if the good NFL players are told to avoid those, well, come on.
It makes sense. It makes sense if it's your career. I mean,
yes.
it makes sense, and that's just the way the NFL goes. But I mean, in real spirit of football, I mean, I like watching dudes get hit. I mean, as much as it hurts them, dude, you signed up to play football. You know what I mean? Like,
but now on the flip side, as a guy who owns a business, if I owned a football team,
right.
I'm doing the same thing. I know it wouldn't be a real popular notion, but hey, guess what, Aaron Rodgers? You need to stay on the field because you're worth more to be losing games on the field than you are hurt.
Right.
Like that's what people don't understand with professional sports, right? Sports are what we want them to be up through college.
Right.
And then as soon as money gets involved, everything goes to shit.
It's business.
Right? That's just what it is.
Don't they pay college players?
Well, you know what I'm saying, though. But from the NFL standpoint, it's about license, it's about ticketing, it's about ticket sales, it's about how many beers can I sell in the stadium, jersey sales, all of that. Well, that's what it's about at the professional level, unfortunately. It's not about the game that we want it to be about.
Which is
anymore.
why I think this AAF is filling that gap of what we want. So it's going to be cool to see where it goes.
Hopefully
it's not perfect,
off. I mean,
but
I just looked at their upcoming schedule. They go all the way to the end of April. Like the championship game is the end of April.
Right.
That's awesome.
So think about that now. I mean, on these days where it's going to suck the next couple of days, I mean, you hopefully this weekend you get to watch some football if you're not in a basketball gym or ice fishing or something else.
Yep.
How cool is that?
Better. Some football is better than no football.
Right.
I don't care. You could say it's not as good a quality, whatever. I don't care. There's no college, there's no NFL. Just give me football.
Right. Well, and we got college basketball that's full fledged right now. I mean, the Badgers played this weekend. Marquette played this weekend. I mean, you got to. That Marquette game, was that pretty awesome?
Ryan.
Did you watch that one?
It was one of the better games of the weekend.
Right.
I
mean, what's that star sensation they got from Marquette?
The Hausers,
Howard.
right?
Point guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just went off, had 40 points this weekend. And now,
who was that?
30.
Who was it?
Howard. Marcus Howard.
Marcus Howard
okay.
for the Marquette. He's just a stud.
See, those two Hauser boys went to Stevens Point.
Mm-hmm.
The two Hausers that play for Marquette.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm. They both won. I think they won like 4 state titles in a row at Stevens Point. Am I right?
You're correct.
Ty's a basketball guy.
I know. That's why I'm talking. Well, and then I only watched. Did you watch any of the Badger game? I only watched up to about halftime, and then I got bored.
I only watched the second half.
Oh, and that's
a great game, physical game.
Did it come down to free throws? Like I thought the first game they played against Michigan.
They had their opportunities down the stretch. Half just couldn't connect.
Is he not like one of the worst free throw shooters in college basketball?
Who?
49%.
That Ethan Happ.
Oh, really?
Phenomenal basketball player, but free throws they're free for a reason.
I
you
just don't get
them.
into basketball. It's just
I know,
thing.
And we didn't mean to jump.
I tried
ship.
watching basketball one time.
Well, and
I don't mind the game itself, but it's just I don't know. There's such a difference between college and then the NBA. It's just a whole different deal. It's just not my thing.
Well, that was my tangent. I didn't direct it very well, but I mean, so there's college basketball on right now. The NBA's on right now. Now you can watch, more football. I mean,
baseball just started. That's what I'm excited about.
Speaking of the NBA, though,
pretty soon.
Those AAF games.
Morning, Russell.
Those AAF games actually broke the viewings from the NBA. So like NBA
really?
had a smaller viewer out on cable and the internet than the AAF games.
But see, that's going to drive that. If they get if people are watching it, that's what drives the whole thing.
To me, it's kind of like what the MLF for bass fishing is becoming is what AAF is aiming to be.
Yep.
A little bit different take on a traditional sport.
I'm still shocked that the NFL let them use their network like that. That's just It seems to me that they're not going to compete with the NFL on a scale size. I get that.
Right.
So are they going to try to make it out to be kind of like a D league?
The perfect analogy is like you renting this room out so some other person could do a podcast in there. Now, it's not going to be anywhere near as good as what we got going on. But, you make a little money on it. They get to feel good about it.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's cool. It's something to look forward to on the weekends if you got nothing else shaking.
So Russell's tuning in here. Russell, are you did you make it home from the show, or are you still in Ohio? Let me know. Just curious. Russell was at a big show in Ohio this last weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Selling all sorts of custom tackle and stuff.
So, you didn't fish this weekend, Zach?
I did not fish. Wah, wah.
You don't ice fish.
I did not have a chance.
I was the only one in this room that
which is surprising.
Finally got on ice.
Did you catch
Good job.
I caught like 4 fish.
That's why I don't ice fish.
What lake?
I went to a lake in Washare County. It had a bunch of cribs on it, and I used the Markham camera to locate the cribs. Now I had a general idea where these cribs were. I fished them before, but without having it marked on my phone, I had to use a camera. Now I will say, for my first time using the camera, the Markham 5 was phenomenal. But I was just talking to Tony about this. The upgrade from that camera with the directionals on it is monstrous. Like, I punched probably 30 holes trying to get right on top of these cribs just because that water was probably 15 foot deep. But without on that camera display, I couldn't see which way the camera was spinning, so I was just guessing on which way to go to find
you
these
didn't know which
cribs.
way the camera was pointing. Okay.
Yeah, so the one with the 5, there's a 5 and then the 5 Plus. The 5 Plus not only has a directionals on it.
What's the price difference?
I'd have to look.
About
I'm sure. Yeah, about
$100.
It's
so
substantial.
would you think that's worth it then at that point from what you dealt with?
Yes, because now that water I was fishing was very clear.
Okay.
So basically, there's a protective plastic shroud on there, and I could see down far enough once I pulled my shack over to tell which way that shroud was pointing. So then I knew the camera was facing this direction. But yeah, and the other thing that's really cool is the 5 Plus has the ability to record it. How often are you going to use that record, I guess, is up to, the individual. But like Tony was saying, he used the same camera I did, and he was on the Wolf River, and he had a flathead catfish come up to the camera, and he said that flathead opened its mouth like it was going to eat that camera. For those who aren't familiar, that Markham camera is only about this big, the camera itself.
And catfish will eat anything.
Yeah. And he goes, no, that would have been monstrous to have the video record option on that one.
Right.
But the directionals would have been monstrous for me to find it and locate these cribs, just on efficiencies basis, But yeah, I got on the cribs and then I could sight fish them, and I caught 1 or 2 nice bass and a couple some keeper bluegills. But the fishing was slow. Like the fish weren't on the cribs like I expected them to be.
Exactly why I don't ice fish.
No,
my son asks me all the time, "Why don't we ice fish, Dad? We fish a lot in the summer." I'm like, I like moving a lot. I'm not a real stationary fisherman. I like to be on the move, and just drilling a hole is just. I don't know if it's too much work or I'm just lazy or what.
I feel you now that I've explored both and I went hard in both. Is like I like ice fishing. It's cool, but I feel like that's something I got to do with people. Almost treat it like it's a day out, and more so than fishing than it is a time to just go out and hang out.
Well,
because I don't like. It's boring to me. I got ADHD. I want to be up. I want to be moving. That's why I'm excited to get the boat going. I just want to be out there, hammer on fish, moving around.
I totally agree with you. But so, is the camera something that you need at times? Yes, but a flasher can accomplish a lot.
Oh, for sure.
And make you more.
Well, a flasher is going to really make it difficult to find cribs. Like
correct.
What you were trying to do.
I was
the cribs,
purposely trying to
clear water. A lot of those Washare County lakes are clear water. You can see.
And I did, and I because as I was scanning the structure, it was just sand bottom for there was weeds out further out, but
and those fish are going to be on the structure. They're not going to be just roaming
or weed bed or weed flat or anything like that. So I did fish a little bit this weekend, but let's see what else
we
got.
Cody had a question. He goes, "What do you guys prefer, aluminum or fiberglass boats?" I know my take on that is it really depends. In my opinion, it really depends on what your objectives are. If you're fishing inland lakes, if you're fishing lakes that have maybe lower water levels where you need a roller, trailer, those types of things to get in and out of the lake, I think aluminum is definitely the way to go. I think overall as a whole, if I was fishing nothing but, say, smaller lakes, inland lakes, occasionally the Winnebago system, when the weather allows me to, an 18-foot aluminum boat's going to allow you to do anything you want.
Any lake in Wisconsin.
Right? I mean, anything you want to do, an 18-foot aluminum boat, tiller or not tiller, that's personal preference. But you can go do anything you want to do with that style of boat. You can fish the channels. You can fish up in the pier in the spring. You can go to the lakes. You can do the whole thing. Now, that being said, if you want to get out on the big lake, like, if you want to go up on the bay, chase smallies, you want to fish whenever you want to fish, not when the weather's going to allow you to fish, but you want to fish when you want to fish, then glass is the right way to go. Little heavier boat, little better control in rougher water, those types of things. What do you think?
Less maintenance on the aluminum as well.
Yep. So I would definitely, if I was looking for an overall boat, an 18-foot aluminum boat is by far, you can musky fish, bass fish, walleye, you do whatever you want in it.
So not a 12-foot aluminum boat.
No, I'm just saying, just out of my experience, and I just had this conversation with Lance the other day because he's looking at buying a boat, and I said, an 18-foot tiller on a roller trailer is the ultimate weapon from a boat standpoint. You can do anything you want with that boat. You control, do anything you want in it. That's just my opinion.
So, real quick, I just want to jump in. We have an announcement for the TRS Live promo code. So if you are watching right now, the TRS Live promo code today only is going to be 15% off your order.
So even though it says 10% on there?
Yeah, I'm working on trying to get that to change. But the text tool in my
well, I know I'm delayed here, so that's
work.
fine. That's fine.
Actually, I told Lance, I said we're going to make that 15. So.
Is that going to be 15 forever?
It might be. I don't know. We'll see
Maybe?
how it goes.
Okay. Well, for right now,
buy a bunch of stuff.
For right now, you've got 15% off.
I just felt like making it 15. I felt saucy.
Southie.
Russell told me I was being a stick in the mud, so I had to loosen up a little bit.
So he made it home at 3 a.m.
Yeah, he got home at 3 a.m.
What is brown trout fishing?
I think he was talking about the aluminum boats.
Oh,
being able to just fish in the, a lot of brown trout early season. You can fish on shore. You're not going real far away from the harbors and stuff. I'm assuming that's what he was getting at.
Huh.
So, all right.
Well,
now it's 15% off.
Yay!
Oh, nice. I do have some sturgeon spearing numbers over the weekend.
Ooh.
So
I saw some monsters on Facebook.
Yeah,
some real
there
big
was some
ones.
real big. Well, here's a gentleman that speared a 171-pound, 85.5-inch sturgeon.
Is there a photo of it?
Can you get that photo?
Can you send it to me via Skype and I'll put it on there?
Well, I can send you the link. It's on the DNR's website.
Oh, sure. Send me a link and I'll pull it up. So I was going to say, a good friend of mine.
You want to just send to that Skype link?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's why we did that.
Oh.
You got to bear with Matt and all this technology. It's really hard for him to. Really hard.
Well,
he's doing a good job, though.
When I was commenting to Brian before, Zach didn't say nothing. I thought he joined in on that awesome conversation. But anyways, yeah, so it looks like, and I saw, was that Justin that just walked in? So he was out there.
Yeah, he said he slipped and fell on the stairs, so I didn't know if he'd be in today or not. That had to hurt.
That's a funny possible story.
All right, I got to pull it up now.
Yeah, there you go. So there are 108 fish, and that's the page I'm looking at.
Yep.
So you got the numbers and stuff right there, too?
Yep.
Yeah, I heard like 180-something fish are on the upper river, and then like 150-something, right? Yeah, 153 on the Bago system.
I just sent you a picture too, Zach.
And 182.
For sure.
An absolute giant was speared out on Winnebago. Giant.
Giant?
Like giant. Wait till you see this. I think it was close to like 600 pounds or something. Can you get that picture, Zach?
Is it a Goliath grouper?
There's that one right there.
Oh, nice.
You know what's really funny is every time I scroll past that photo, I always go like, "What is going on here? Like that's what?" And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's just the action figure."
The first time I saw that, I was like, "Whoa, holy crap! Somebody just."
No, I see it.
So I'm guessing. I mean, I'm not a sturgeon spear, but I think that's a pretty good weekend.
Yeah. That sounds like a good weekend.
57.9% of the cap. So
that's over half, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so in a week, in 2 days, that's pretty good.
Right.
So
Water clarity has to be good.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, good luck.
So if you're watching and you got one, or you
are
are hoping to get one, if you get one, send us a picture right to the Facebook page.
The other thing too is Matt Truth, our Hoyt Easton rep, sent me a message right away this morning saying that Hoyt and Easton combined took the Las Vegas open shoot this weekend, or if I'm saying that correctly. But the biggest thing to me that's really cool is there were 97 archers in total with a perfect 300 in the first round, and then I think like 27 or 20 of them graduated to like the final round, which had like the numbers were insane. For like a perfect round, there was more than 2 people obviously that did that. So that's 900. They're shooting at a spot that's like the size of a nickel.
Yeah, it's crazy.
At 20 yards, I believe. So he just had to brag that Hoyt
awesome.
Hoyt and Easton won that. Now, like if you look at the line here, there's PSE, there's another Hoyt, there's Matthews, there's Elite on that line. I mean, it's just amazing the competition and the mindset you have to have, because it's like kind of like a big deal. I mean, I was watching some of the video. They make an announcement. They call you out like you're coming out of the huddle, And
yeah.
Then you're standing on a line with 20 other people in the shoot-off for the win. So
what were they fishing for?
They're
shooting for. Sorry.
This was this was a spot league.
Okay.
And it was kind of like a spot league.
But what was the purse?
$53,000.
That's crazy.
And I think that's just straight money. I don't think that's any contingency or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. So if anybody's into that indoor archery stuff, I believe this was the first shoot of the year.
Well, that goes back to what Matt was talking about when he was here on the show, talking about the shootability and the forgiveness of a Hoyt. So there you go.
Hoyt, shout out to Hoyt.
Makes me excited to get ours. So wait, hold up. In this room, so you're getting a Hoyt.
You're getting a Hoyt.
And are you getting a Hoyt?
I don't know what I'm shooting yet.
Yeah, you don't know yet? Okay, well, we'll let you know how it is on Team Hoyt.
I don't know.
If those who don't know, Zach and I usually rock hats every single
all the
day.
time.
Now, we're pretty proud. We got
I will this summer because in the summer I will because when I come in here I'll have this crazy tan line right about here. From here up is white, from here down is red.
Right.
So I'll wear a hat a lot more.
So speaking of summer, let's get right into it.
Real quick, Nicholas asked what the pros and cons between a tiller and a console boat.
Ooh, good questions. Keep them coming.
Yeah. So my opinion with that is fishability wise. Like I said, with that 18-footer, you're better off with a tiller than with the console. You got a lot more fishable space. The whole boat's a fishing deck at that point. The negative with the tiller is it's not as how do I want to put this? It's not as natural from a driving standpoint as a wheeled boat.
And when you're breaking down a lake and navigating, I think it's easier with
console. Correct. So I think that there's once you get good at driving a tiller, I think a tiller is definitely the way to go. That's just, I guess that's the biggest difference between it is tiller-wise, you get 100% of your fishing space in the boat, where the console is going to chew up some of that. That's why a lot of the Bass Pro guys are all running single console boats. They don't want to have to fish around that other console all the time.
Right. Did you look?
So hopefully that answered your question. Nick.
Did you watch any of the Elite?
I did a little bit. Yeah. Rick Clun won it.
Yeah.
The old timer. That guy. I mean, think about that.
Guy.
He's got to be pushing. He's got to.
He looks ragged. I mean,
but you got to remember though, that's 7 days into it. That's a beatdown.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
right?
Though.
I mean, you've fished a lot of tournaments. That's a beatdown when you're fishing at that level. That's a beatdown.
When I'm that age, I will not be fishing tournaments.
Well, and winning them.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like the guy's a legend already. I mean, he's actually like a mega legend. He's one of the guys, like when Ty and I were growing up, like he was the guy.
Oh
right?
yeah. Yep.
Now he's still winning tournaments. It was awesome.
Yeah. There's a video here. It says Clun lands a Florida giant. That fish is monstrous.
All right. Well, while you look for that, so if there's any other questions about boats, I love boats. Boats are my.
Yeah, bring them up.
For me, boats are like Zach and his cars. I love boats. Everything about boats are awesome.
Just say it.
It's been my thing.
Are you fishing any tournaments this year?
Probably not.
That's what happens when you have kids, Matt.
I understand that.
Your fun level goes from fishing tournaments to basketball tournaments.
So at a ballpark every weekend.
But I mean, with the Wisco Bass Series, that single Bass Series, is that something that as your kids get older, you would think about getting back into? Because you're
I do it with
tournament fisherman.
If you don't know Ty's a stick. You don't want to mess with Ty in the water.
I fished with him one time.
Did he kill you?
Oh, yeah.
He tore you apart, didn't he?
Yeah,
See, that's why I won't get. That's why I won't get into both of them. I don't want to make me look stupid.
Well, he took Lance and I. He invited us out. 4th of July weekend. We went punching.
Okay.
And for the first time I've ever went punching. For those who don't know what that is, you can help explain it. But you throw a heavy tungsten weight. How heavy is it typically?
Ounce to ounce and a quarter.
And you throw it up, and you let it literally punch through the mats or the lilies. And then I'm like, how do you know when you have a fish on? Because you have a lot of weight on the end of it. And Ty goes, it just feels different. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, sometimes it won't hit the bottom at all. Their reaction to that is so fast. And so I think I must have missed a bunch of fish. And, like, a Ty quote is, hook sets are free.
Right.
So, but that was a lot of fun because Lance was pitching a frog at times off the back of the boat. So we had northerns blowing up out of the water. Like, one literally great white. Like, just, it wasn't very big, maybe a 24, 26-inch northern. But it literally great white out of the water. Missed his frog. But I was lucky enough, I don't know, I think I landed one. It was probably close to 2 pounds. Right out in the middle of nowhere, there's this isolated weed patch, lily patch. And I pitch it in there, I punch it in there, whatever you want to call it.
He's so technical.
I know. And it just, you're like I did 100 times before.
Well, you can almost feel him slap it. Like, you can feel him hit it,
See, and it's.
Oh, you can't feel that?
Well, it's just so inexperienced in
right.
it, But it, like, you feel it, and you feel like the rod tip blowed up. You're like, possibly. Like I did 100 times before, and there was nothing there, This time I reeled down, and I tiptoed pucker.
Tiptoed and pucker.
Crossed his eyes. All this bass lingo is fun stuff to talk about. And I hooked one, and it was a nice 2-pounder, but I think the biggest one, I think I shared it to Facebook. Maybe I'll try to find it. Ty landed. It was like
5-pounder.
5-pounder. And a spot like I was literally about to cast there, too.
No, I'm pretty sure I let you have the first cast.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, that's what it was. I think I threw that spot once or twice, and Ty goes, all right, get in the back of the boat. Let me. And he threw it up
out of my way.
And he did. And he landed. It was a nice fish. But it was a fun opportunity. So, yes, back to the story. Ty is a really good fisherman, and that's why you're in here right now, because between you and Brian.
Nate said Rick Klun's 72.
Jesus.
72 years old, and he's still at that level.
That's wild.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Tony wants to take you fishing, by the way. Tony Malika. He said he'll outfish you. Oh, no. He said we'll fish one. So
perfect.
So anyways.
Here's where I think we should start with this, because I know we were going to get into Megabass, especially all the Japanese baits we're getting in, which are my favorite because I'm a JDM car guy, Japanese car guy, and then I look at Japanese baits and I see the same styles.
So are we drinking every time he says car, or just when he talks about car
sales? If you did that, you wouldn't be alive.
Joe says Matt fishing. Whoever Joseph Nicodome, thanks for Nicodome. He says Matt fishing,
So what I think we should start with this, though, is Ty. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, my God.
Oh, he puts them right. Should we get to the lights off?
I'm just kidding. I do think we should preface this, though, with what do you typically fish for? You're a bass guy. You like pike, or do you just catch a lot of pike on accident?
I hate pike.
You hate? Okay.
No, mainly bass fish.
Man.
Mainly bass fishing.
Pike are expensive. If you fish the Wolf River in the last, 2-3 years,
you're talking $50 every outing.
It's ridiculous how many pike there are in there. And
especially because you guys throw tungsten stuff all the time.
And it doesn't matter what level braid you are; they just shear it clean off instantly.
Right.
The teeth are so sharp. I actually got teeth marks on my thumbs from those little, what's.
Little friendly guys.
Oh, so story. I was fishing. I was 18 years old, and I had the reporter from. I was guiding in Winnebago back then, and I had the reporter out from the Milwaukee Sentinel. Came up to do a story on this 18-year-old kid.
Sensation.
Yeah, so we're out fishing. We're doing our thing. I had this 39, 40-inch pike we caught, and the guy wants me to hold it up for a picture for the paper. So I'm holding it up. We're fishing Lake Winnebago right off of Clark's Point. I'm holding the thing up, and you can just feel when those fish are starting to tense up.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, take the picture. And this is way back before digital, right? Like he's all getting it framed up and doing this shit. I'm like, dude, come on, man, hurry up. That fish turned, locked onto my thumb, and just hit the deck and started flopping around on my thumb. So I took evasive maneuvers and got the fish off my thumb. He wasn't real happy about that. But anyway, fish was off my thumb, and I still got the scar right there to prove it. Tooth mark in my thumb.
Yeah.
Still there.
It was how big of a fish?
40-inch. It was a pretty big northern for that system. I mean, it was an awesome fish. I mean, it made it back in the water alive and all that jazz. But yeah, it turned on, just clamped onto my thumb and would not let go. He just, oh my God, they got sharp teeth. Not good.
Huh.
PSA: do not lip northern.
Do not lip northern.
You're gonna do it one time.
Use those Rapala grabbers that we sell up front. So keep going, Ty. So you're a bass fisherman. You fished a bunch of tournaments.
My last time I fished a tournament was 2012, North American Bass Circuit.
How'd you do?
We did a good year, very good year.
Well, I mean, toot your horn a little bit. Did you win it?
Oh man, that's a long time ago. I think we won one, place third once.
How many
tournaments?
How many fishing tournaments did you fish in that year?
I couldn't even tell you. Probably 6 or 7 that year.
Nice.
Tournaments that year.
So you won a couple, you said?
We won one that year. Took second in the championship. I mean, we think we won 16 grand that year.
That's awesome.
On that circuit.
Where was the championship that year? Do
Mississippi River.
Very nice.
Pool 4 and 5.
What's Wisco? Isn't Wisco on the Mississippi this year? What?
That's the championship.
Yep. Championship is at Lacrosse Pools.
Yep.
7, 8, and 9.
Best fishery in the country, I think.
The Mississippi River.
I'm excited to go up there.
Why? Why do you say that?
There's just you can fish it so many different ways, and there's so much water. You don't have to worry about people being on top of you.
So now, when was that one again, Zach? Is that like
September?
Boy.
That one
put you on the
is.
spot a little bit.
I don't remember exactly, but I have the schedule here.
Well, the only reason
it's gonna be an intense time, I think.
The only reason I ask is because depending on the time of year, you said you can fish it so many different ways. I mean, there's obviously structure differences out there. There's deeper spots. What are you gonna?
It's October 13th.
October. So
October 13th.
was it? What are you gonna? How are you gonna find those fish? Depending on
If it was me, I'd be on the wing dams. Smallies will win it.
Oh, really?
That time of year, I do believe.
Almost
cranking. You're thinking, or what?
Probably flipping.
Flipping.
And crankbait will come into factor too, but I mainly flipping the wing dams.
Would you agree with me, Ty, that if it came down to it, Smallies, largemouth, that most of the time, not 100%, most of the time Smallies will end up winning? Do you agree with that
on
or
that
no?
system?
I mean, in a lot of systems. I mean, if there's both, I'm saying, right? Like, if it's a largemouth primarily system, that doesn't come into play. But what I've found is, like, if there's a system that has both, typically the Smallies are a little bigger.
I usually find it the other way.
Do you?
The largest bigger.
There you go. Then we don't have to fight each other for spots.
Yeah, but I think Wisco Bass is in Shawano, right? So there's not really.
That's not true. There's Smallies in Shawano.
There are.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
only
really?
caught in one on the actual lake, but.
Well, Mike and I finished. I don't remember where we finished in Shawano last year.
Just go upriver
or whatever. But yeah, we caught a bunch of Smallies.
Oh, so it's like the Bago system. There's a river included in Shawano Lake.
It's actually the Wolf River.
Oh, is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, isn't there? What is it? The red that's up there too?
It feeds into it.
Feeds in.
Is that considered part
it's
of it?
It's all part of it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. That's just so much to learn. But so obviously you know your stuff. I mean, I rely on you a lot. When we used to work the sales floor, I mean, you're the bass guy that I always referred to, and the fishing guy as well. Like your kids fish bass, you guys fish panfish. You catch walleyes, but you're not a big fan of them, right? Like,
no.
It's funny listening to these bass and these walleye guys.
It's hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
Walleye guys
From
get
the
pissed
third
at
party.
bass, and bass guys get pissed at walleyes.
Sometime we're gonna get 2 of them on here, one from each side.
Well, and I
just
look
let
at
them go at it.
Like when I fish, I'm like, oh, cool, I caught something.
Right.
You guys are so good. You're actually targeting, and if you're mad if you don't catch that, like Ty will come in off the river, and I caught like 18 walleyes today. I'm like, oh, sweet. Yeah, no, not cool. I'm like, good for you, man. He's like, yeah, but I was fishing smallies. It doesn't work out. I'm like, yeah, I would have been happy. I still want to go on the river with you. I think that's a blast, but
it's just we say that all the time. Is fish for whatever's gonna make you happy.
Yep.
I don't want to pick one or the other. I mean, I've got my opinions on certain things, but I think it's the challenge. Once you get out of the I'm just gonna go fishing.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go fishing. Quotes for whatever's gonna bite today.
Yep.
Once you kind of get bored with that, I think that's where the species-specific guy shows up.
Yep.
And he's like, I've done this. I can go there. I can catch whatever. I want to see how big of a bass I can catch, how big of a walleye I can catch, how big of a salmon I can catch, whatever it is. I think that's kind of that natural progression in fishing of you start with the bobber and the worm.
Yep.
Right? You start with the bobber and the worm, whatever's going to bite, and you're just jacked about it. Yep. And then you go into the I'm going to eat whatever I catch phase. And then from there, you kind of graduate. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You got a license, go do that. But then when you graduate from that, you kind of get more into the specifics about I'm going to target this species.
Hey.
Right.
Megan says she can't hear you good enough.
I upped his volume.
Did you turn him up a little bit?
But yeah,
okay, cool.
I always say that the good rule of thumb
honey.
is like off your cheek. So.
Yeah, like a kiss.
Either way.
But anyways, and then Ryan's on here. He's I'm a walleye junkie. We're not picking on any fish species at all. I mean,
we're just saying that there's a hilarious disconnect between the bass guys and the walleye guys.
Well, if people go back and watch the Wisco Bass, the opening of that website day when we did this, I mean, they were the same way.
Yep. But like then you run into somebody like me who I spent, without fishing for years and then coming here and deciding to get back into it. I started from the ground up for the whole entirety last fall. Was starting with your basics and just moving into seeing what fish are biting, what's what. And I found that the thing that I like more, which is cool about fishing, is you can have your own opinions about it. Right. I just like catching oddball fish. I don't like the normal fish. I like the oddball stuff. So you'll see me on the TRS Outdoors group. Plug, go there, join it. TRS Outdoors on Facebook. When I'm on there, I'm asking people, for advice because I'm like, hey, I want to go track down a monster bowfin, and people are like, why? And I'm like, because of bowfin. Have you looked at they're sweet looking fish. They grow big. They're predatory fish. I mean, there's nothing not cool about them.
Well, and the state record's not that hard to beat. I mean, I think it's like 30-11 or something like that, like 30 inches and 11 pounds.
And I feel like you find the right fishery that's untouched with a lot of weeds and whatnot, those fish could probably grow.
Well, the reason I know that is because Ty was saying that. How many bowfin did you catch last fall? Was it last fall or the year before? You guys were just nailing.
It was quite a few.
Nailing dogfish or
right. And they fight too.
Yeah.
When you get into those, they're like musky.
I like how
give her.
I had one on a catfish rig, and it wasn't a very big fish. I mean, it was like a 20-inch fish, but the cool thing about that was it must have been on the hook for a long time because by the time I got to it, I didn't even know there was anything on the end. Like he was probably locked in for a half an hour, and finally I go to pull up my lines and move to the next spot. And also I'm like, it feels like there's weight on here. And so I'm reeling, and I pull it up, and there's just this bowfin just chilling on the line, just completely worn out, didn't want anything to do with anything. I did everything by hand, popped him out. I'm like, okay, here you go.
13 pounds, 1 ounce, 31.6 inches.
That's a big fish.
I mean, that's a real big fish.
That's a big fish.
But if you're going to target that species, it's probably not that far away.
That was a bowfin?
Yeah, it's a bowfin. Because you were talking last year.
I should have measured that one.
You had some tankers on it,
It was huge. Bet you was pushing 30.
That's a
I mean, it was.
Well, see, that's the kind of thing. So now you know. Now next time you accidentally hook into one of those
Now you tell me
things.
where you found that one, and we'll go hit it this spring.
You go catch it and get it out of there.
I will. I'll do it for you. If it's a 30-inch bowfin, I will get it mounted. And people will also ask, why would you mount a bowfin? And I'd be like, look at it.
They're cool looking.
I've seen guys that are hardcore bowfishing mount interesting fish like quailback carp or mirror carp or goldfish.
Right.
There's some goldfish that make it through the system.
I'm gonna let my pet buffalo grow a little bit bigger, and then I'm gonna get him mounted when he's about that big.
Oh man, them buffalo carp.
All right, let's get into these baits.
Let's get into this stuff.
Let's get into these baits.
Playing with it all. So you go.
I was gonna say. So I don't know where you want to start, Ty, or what you want to talk about first.
Well, there's a lot of baits to talk about. We'll start with the 110s. I mean, that's probably the staple in their lineup.
Megabass.
The Megabass.
Yep.
The number one question I get is, why do I spend $25 on a jerkbait?
Great question.
And the big thing is the fit and finish. I mean, you're getting the high quality components, good hooks, good split rings. The big thing that I love about the 110 is the weight transfer. They got the tungsten beads inside, and guys that fish the bay, I mean, when you're making a hard cast into the wind, that weight transfer
makes a huge difference.
It's awesome. I mean, you'll get 10, 15 feet, maybe yards farther than the guy that's throwing maybe a Smithwick or.
So those tungsten beads can transfer from the front to the back and
Correct.
just propel it through.
I mean, it's
cut
like
the wind.
it's like throwing a dart. You can get an extra distance on that. And this is my favorite color for the bay. I caught my biggest smallie on that GG Perch OB 7-pounder up on the Sturgeon Bay area.
A 7-pound smallmouth.
Yeah, it was
in Wisconsin.
Dude,
it was.
He's on the bay, man.
It was round.
Yeah,
that's where we're going. I can't wait.
What was the big one last year, Ty, at the Sturgeon
It was
Bay
over
Open?
8.
8.6, I think it was.
Dude, that fish.
It looked like its head was like this big, and its gut. It was. I have a picture.
What tournament was that?
Sturgeon Bay Bass Open.
Let's see. I'll see. You guys keep talking. I'll see if I can
So
find
now
that
we have all
picture.
these bass tournaments coming up, right? So this is just between the three of us. We're gonna have a chance to
Just
fish
between
at some
three
point,
of us
right?
in the world, right?
And the world, right? But we're gonna have a chance to fish these spots at some point.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
Okay.
Oh. When
I don't want to see people
when we
catch
cover
stuff.
the Wisco bass, we're gonna have to pre-fish a couple days.
Like I have to fish.
Awesome.
I have to fish the bay.
We got to fish to know where to film.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna take you to some spots that I know they are not gonna go, and we're gonna wreck them. He knows what I'm talking about, and we're gonna wreck them.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. So, like I said, 2018.
I gotta test your. You know, I've been saying a lot about camera angles, not giving away spots. We're gonna have to work on that.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's insane.
Oh my God!
You got to post that up there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Talk
All
about
right,
a
send it in.
football.
So now there's what, 4 different sizes in the
Yes,
division
we will
now?
carry the junior, the Vision 110, the Standard 110. We'll carry the +1 and the +2.
Okay. Now that's all 4 of them, right?
That will be in our lineup.
In that vision? Okay.
Yep.
Yes, because we did get a comment over the weekend on Facebook Messenger, and
I replied to him, too.
So we both did.
Well, not on Messenger. I did on Facebook itself.
Oh,
He
okay.
commented.
Okay. Yes.
There's only one thing that I would change out on any of the stuff is the oval split ring. They give a round one, and for anybody that's fished a round split ring on the front, I'm sure you have lost fish or have lost the bait because it works. The
line
works its way through the.
And that's something I think
split ring.
Instinctively I just check constantly, like every third
You don't
cast.
switch yours out to an oval?
No, I will if I have them. I'm saying if I don't have it, if it's a hot bite and I pull that bait out and it doesn't have the oval, oval's by far better. And if people don't know, some of these baits have around. Matt's looking at me; he's all confused. There's a circle. See the split rings? The split ring at the front's a circle.
Oh yeah.
They make them that's an oval, so it naturally finds its home.
Okay.
In the middle.
Oh right.
Because what can happen on these is where the split ring splits, your line will eventually work its way around, and if it ends up on that spot, it's a natural to kind of cut.
So you go to like that VMC oval one. Is that?
I brought that air right there.
Oh, there it
Look
is,
at
right
that.
there.
Almost
So
on
this
cue.
is a different than the one I was even thinking about.
You can either use the snap or switch out this actual split ring.
Yeah, I was gonna say because VMC also makes a split ring.
Well,
Like
see, I just taught that crazy on. I just constantly check. I always tie my knot on the exact opposite side of the circle in the split ring, and then I just check it constantly, just make sure it's in the middle. Probably almost
when
every
you're on them,
cast.
you're probably not checking it.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
nice.
But I think subconsciously I do a lot. There's a lot of stuff I do that you'll probably notice, and I don't even think I'm doing it. I just do it.
Well, it's just like what we talked about last week with closing the bail with your hand and then pulling a little bit of slack
Right.
out.
See, there's been a lot of stuff now that I'm teaching my son how to fish that I'm like, oh yeah, you just do that.
That's not normal.
I don't
right?
even
Or
think
that's something
about
you
it, but
gotta tell
I watch him do things, or I watch him watch people on YouTube do things wrong, and I'm just like,
don't do that.
Right.
I
But
just do it instinctively. I don't even think about it.
See, now here's a really cool thing that you just brought up, though, is because there are a lot of people out there fishing, including especially myself, where I'm relearning everything, is there's a lot of things that you have to be taught that just don't automatically fall into your lap. And for you, obviously, teaching your kids how to fish, and well, actually, for all of you guys, teaching your kids how to fish and teaching other people, and also you realize, wait, not everybody knows to do that.
Right.
So then you see a new guy out there, and you're with somebody that you're not normally fishing with.
Yeah.
And they have those issues that you don't run into, but they're running into.
Right.
And it's nice to be able to just teach people. Instead of being pretentious about it, let's just teach people
I
what
agree
the right way
completely.
is. So it's nice.
Sometimes I think I forget.
Right.
I forget what I'm even doing.
So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. I know there's
Ty's sitting there ready to go.
I know, but I have to know why this thing sells.
Like it sells.
Yeah.
Like constant.
This thing looks like a toy that.
But what does it look like to you?
I mean, I get it. It looks like a goby.
Okay, so what's the question?
It's a natural looking fish, but also
very natural looking.
Think about this though.
I mean,
okay,
some
so
of the
shape-
colors in this thing, it just
Here's
boggles my mind.
So
But
here's
this
what-
is like a huge selling bait right
Here's
here.
the way I look at this, and Ty maybe is a little more in depth, but the way they have the weight in this one, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the way they have the weight, it's real wide. It's not like a tube jig. It's a real wide.
So have you
weight.
thrown this?
Oh, a lot last year. I fished it a lot.
Really?
Every fish I caught on this bait last year had it engulfed, like gone. The only other bait I've ever seen the fish react to like that was a Selma hornet. When you troll a Selma hornet, the fish just inhale it. You don't ever get that lip bite or where they're barely kind of on it.
Right.
They inhale it. And the only thing I could think of with the Selma hornet when I was back in my walleye days trolling was it looked more like a bug than it looked like a minnow. The size of it.
So where's the hook on this?
It's
Also,
buried-
that's another reason why it's
buried in the dorsal.
You can
buried
throw
in the
this.
dorsal fin.
Oh, okay.
You can throw this right in the pickers and rip it right through weeds.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
But when
it
it
won't
falls,
get caught.
it falls like a goby.
Like
So it
face
doesn't.
down?
It kind of glides down like
Oh,
this.
there
When
you
it
go,
sinks,
yeah.
it doesn't go like
Well-
this. It just kind of goes real slow down.
And the cool thing about
Yeah,
that
you
too
can
is
see
with
it
the
in
shape
there,
of the
yep.
tail. The shape of the tail.
Yeah, it's a paddle tail.
Yeah, it's a paddle tail. But then when you rip that through the water, it actually creates a zigzag.
Yeah, and this
So
comes
it
in what,
zigzags.
4 sizes?
4 sizes.
Quarter up to what? Ounce?
Quarter, 3/8, half, and 3/4 and 1 ounce.
They just inhale these things.
So is it a real slow retrieval
Yeah.
though? Like
Well, you
just-
can fish it however you want.
I
I always
suppose,
let
but
the
like
fish
the
dictate.
goby one, you're gonna probably bounce it along.
You
want
want to keep it bottom for the most part.
Slow to medium speed.
But
Usually
it's-
you're not burning it.
But they, well, you can't. The way this bait is, if you burn it, it comes right up to the surface almost. Just because of how wide and fat it is.
Yep.
It naturally wants to kind of plane up.
Gotcha.
So you got to fish it kind of slow by nature, but man, they inhale it.
Oh, I
see that. I don't want to go on like a DNR tangent. I don't personally understand what's so bad about gobies from an environmental standpoint.
Right.
So if somebody has an environmental reason why gobies are bad, by all means, I'm all ears. But from a fishing standpoint, fish love them. They're like candy. It's like popcorn.
Here's the thing.
Smallmouth.
So gobies are going to affect that level of the ecosystem, right? I used to be super into biology and all that. So that level of the ecosystem, think about it size-wise, right? That goby's this big.
Right.
So anything smaller than that, they're going to chomp out like crazy. But the nice thing is for the bigger fish, we might run into the issues of, eggs and whatnot being eaten by gobies. But that is just a feeder to help fatten up and make bigger fish for the game fish.
Well, that time on the way home from ATA, I was listening to that Mike Iconelli show, and he had just won a tournament. I can't remember, somewhere in northern New York, I believe it was. And he literally, during his show, he's like, I want the DNR to hope this. He goes, I hope more goby gets more bodies of water because he goes, these fish are fat now.
Well, if you look at where the smallmouth have really exploded, and walleyes for some matter, but really smallies, they've all had goby populations. That's really where the smallies have exploded. Is lakes that have gobies in. Now, I'm not saying 100%, but the Bay, like Erie, a lot of those places have had gobies now come in.
Well, I'm looking at pictures of Austin Gates posted a huge picture of a walleye the other day, and that thing looked like it had a volleyball in its stomach. It was unbelievable how big it was.
Somebody else posted somewhere. Remember how we were talking about wanting to be the first people to prove that there's gobies in Winnebago, and I still want to. If somebody doesn't beat me to it,
I got a friend of mine who cut a fish open and had him in his stomach.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is I saw somebody else on Facebook in one of the groups talking about how they had cut open the stomach and found gobies. So. I mean, they're there. I mean, we just need to find them and prove it.
Just be okay with it.
And I think it's going to be like any other fish. I mean, fish move. It's with any other invasive species. I mean, they're gonna get in there.
I'm not a biologist. I know zebra mussels have done bad things, but I also know zebra mussels have cleaned up a lot of water too that are now more fisher.
Zebra mussels are bad, but think about how many oysters there are in the channels in the ocean or in coastal areas. How many oysters there are? There's billions.
Right.
Look at that
and
thing.
it's clean water, so who knows?
Isn't that crazy?
Look at the belly on that thing.
All right, so what was your next one here, Ty?
All right.
The Pop X and the Pop Max. That's just their top water bait. And once again, the weight transfer in these baits, it's like throwing a dart. I fish a lot of the river, and you need to get that bait tight to the shore, tight to the bank. You can put it wherever you want it. And it's frustrating when you got to make a long cast along a bank, and there it goes like this, and next thing you know,
when you say
10
tight,
feet up into the rocks.
Right. When you say tight, I don't think people realize how tight those fish really are to the bank, like inches.
Inches, that's where I usually want to put it. But a lot of cool color patterns in that, the Pop X, Pop Max.
Very cool.
Oh, the new one, the Battalion swim bait.
Now, is that a glide bait?
You can consider
Fish
that.
like a glide bait?
I mean, I fished a Gyron. I haven't fished this one. I fished the Jackal Gyron. It's supposed to fish a lot like it. Slow, real slow side-to-side action on it.
It looks like a bluegill.
And what's cool about that, and same as the Gyron, I mean, if you're in clear water and you got a fish following, you can twitch this bait and it'll turn right around in a 360 and look right at the bass. It's pretty cool.
Wait a minute. This thing does? It'll turn around.
Yeah, like a bluegill, if it's getting attacked, it'll stop. It'll turn right on it, and it'll look right at its predator.
This is that one you were so excited about the other day.
Yeah, Justin was sending me pictures of that. Because last year I was looking for a 5-inch type glide bait to fish, primarily on Big Green is where I wanted to fish it.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't a lot of options. Down south, 5 inches is nothing. They're throwing 10-inch baits. But up here, it just seems like you got to have that 3 to 5 inch size. That's going to be
throwing
awesome.
a lot. No,
Over
agree. Weed flats.
Well, I think one of the biggest misconceptions with fish is that you got to fish small stuff, right?
Sometimes. Sometimes.
But I'm just saying, nothing in fishing is absolute ever, right? But a fish that's got a mouth this big, right? It can eat anything it wants.
So all I want to say with that is, everyone looks at me, especially like when I go fishing with Nick or whatever, and everyone looks at what I'm casting with, and everyone knows that I'm going for those oddball fish. I'm happy catching one cool fish over 20 fish I could care less about, right? So when I'm casting, these bigger baits and everything, I was down in my personal honey hole, and I'm down there, and I'm throwing a jointed Rapala, floating jointed Rapala, just like that big. I can't remember the exact size, but real big
if it's
sucker.
that big, it's like an 11.
Yeah, I think it's a 12. I think it was a 12. And so throwing that thing, and I caught a smallmouth on that thing that was the size of the bait. Like it bit into it, and it just went in, and I'm like, see, this is where that's why I say, if their fish are hungry and they're biting, they're gonna eat this. And it's perch colors, so I mean, it hammered on it.
You know how many bluegill and crappie I've caught on a bait this big?
Yep.
Are you serious?
Oh
Yeah. They swat at it.
Fish are like dogs; they don't know their size.
It's just
They
reaction.
just eat.
Huh.
Oh, the next one, the eye slide. This is going to be huge for us this year. The glide bait. This is going to be huge on the bay this year.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I need to get.
And
some
we've
of
had a
those.
lot of requests for more
Now
glide baits.
this is the stuff straight out of Japan, correct?
No,
Or
we have
just
our.
some of it.
This is our Japan USA order.
Okay.
Our
So
Japan.
This is not a Megabass lure.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
Oh,
it
is it?
Yep.
Okay.
It's the eye slide. 135B. We'll also be carrying the next size up in that.
Like most companies, they have manufacturing in both Japan and America. What else do we get?
All right. The Dog X. We're going to carry it in both the rattle and non-rattle.
That's your
Just-
top water. Spook
that is your
kinda-
top what? Yep. Spook type bait. Walk the dog action bait. Both in the silent
Now,
and
does
the
that
rattle.
have that chamber as well? The rattle one with the rattle, of course.
It doesn't have the transfer in
Oh,
it.
it does not?
No.
Okay.
The weight's more towards the back
Okay.
though. So it sits sort of at an angle. It doesn't sit sort of so flat.
Okay.
Now that is a bass on a tip up that Ryan just sent in.
Yeah, you showing that picture?
I'm gonna show that right now. That right there. That on a tip up. That's a good catch.
How big was that?
Yeah, Ryan, please send us how big that was. That looks like
That's gotta be-
That's
a
got to be
fat
pushing
fish.
5.5,
Oh, you
6.
think I was going to say 6 or 7.
Look at that. That thing is so cool.
That would be awesome.
Looks like the guy holding it wasn't happy at all.
Now I know we had a couple more pictures that we want to take a peek at. We
Just
had
the color on that fish was
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
We had the one that we were talking about for Austin Gates and that belly. I mean,
Oh
that
yeah,
is-
this one looks like it was monster or munching on gobies like crazy.
that right there. That is
Look
right
at
off
how
Facebook.
fat
That
that
is
fish
just
Looks like a carp.
that's insane.
Well, that's what I thought at first. I'm like, why is he?
That's a walleye, though, right?
That's a
Yep.
walleye.
Also, that's pre-spawn, though, too.
True.
That's probably most of that. I mean, some of it's obviously food, but that's also pre-spawn. That fish is going to spawn it. I don't know where he was, but assuming he's
Right.
probably into pier,
Right.
that
Right.
fish
right.
is spawning in a month.
Yeah.
Right. That's just crazy. And
That
then
is-
we had the one more that we were talking about. That
Poor Ty
8
just wants to keep talking about bass lures.
I know. I know.
that 8 almost 8.8 pound from the what was that, the 2018
Sturgeon Bay? Yeah, Sturgeon Bay.
Like, look at that.
Yeah, that's just
That is
dumb.
that's a colorful
Good.
fit. That's a
Yes.
good pattern too on there.
That's just a tank.
Well, hopefully that fish is still swimming. That'd have been.
That's a beast.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, what else we got, Ty?
Come on.
We carry the S crank 1.5. It's a bigger crankbait, bigger square bill. And what's different about this square bill to others is your actually the bill on it is wider. You're going to push more water, and it's got a slower action on it.
And that's,
Not
I
as
mean,
tight.
you can get square bills through a lot of stuff. So that
Mhm.
wider bill should make it even more versatile, getting through timber and that kind of
Yep.
stuff.
Gives it a little bit different action than the others.
Very nice.
What? You guys are throwing crankbaits around wood?
Square bills you can.
That's
Are you
what
afraid of losing those things?
Not on 50-pound braid.
Trying to join the Lost Lures Club is what they're trying to do.
That's what I was saying. Like, I scuba dive for if I.
I always tell
snag a-
people, if you're not losing baits, then you're not fishing in the right spot.
So
mean,
then
you
I
gotta
fish in
be-
all the right spots. Is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Every spot I
I
fish
mean,
is
but
prime.
a bass naturally is very predatory, right?
Right.
They're ambush feeders.
Well, I get that.
so the
but
thicker the cover, the better, right?
that
Right.
part makes
It's like
total.
we got to translate this to Matt. It's like a 6-year-old deer,
Yeah.
6-year-old whitetail.
Yeah.
They live in the thickest, nastiest crap ever, and they only come out when they have to.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yep.
4 or 5 pound bass.
I just can't believe you guys are ballsy enough to throw some of these expensive lures around wood. I'd be so nervous.
You'll be surprised at how weedless this is in wood, though. You don't get hooked up too much.
Like, now throwing it through the weeds would be one thing, but throwing it through some timber would be another thing.
You
I mean,
pussy.
I'm not trying to sound like a fool right now, but it's
You can't just rip it through there too. You got to have a little finesse, which is probably where Matt struggles is lack of finesse.
You need the finesse. If you don't have the finesse,
you got to be able to feel.
You just got to have it at the wrist. It's
but
all about the wrist.
that is where we'll get into these rods back here in a second, though. But your rod actions we talked about a little bit last week. Your rod actions will make an absolutely huge difference on how you can work those baits in different colors.
It's amazing because when I switched from my cheapo rod to that favorite and that Powell was going off of rock piles and being able to tell exactly what you're hitting every time you jig off bottom.
Makes
You're
a big
like,
difference.
I know exactly. I'm like, that's not a fish. That's not a fish.
Yeah.
Feel it. You can definitely feel it. And some of the spots that we fish into, they're wooded or there's a lot of down trees and whatnot. And when you can feel that, that's money.
Yeah, translate things to deer for Matt.
I know.
As soon as I said 6-year-old, he's like, oh, okay. I get that.
I mean,
I get it.
That kind of I get the concept
I know,
of it.
I'm
But
You
it's
just got to remember how do they get to be that age in nature? Because if you're a bass, I mean, you got to watch out for
by
predators.
eating more than the next person.
Right.
Really.
But you also got to stay hidden. You got to stay away from the other predator fish. They got to have their.
But I mean, I'm just go ahead. It just
You
boggles
done?
my mind. You guys throwing $15
Is
lures
this
in
new?
trees.
I haven't
The
seen this
Sonic, the Sonic is one they came out last year,
one. Oh, wow. I didn't see that.
and
bait.
that is
I
their
like that.
flat body, basically a square bill with the what is that? The computer, the chip, whatever
really?
or computer board, the lip, so it's almost indestructible. You beat the heck out of that against rocks, and it's not gonna.
Well, for $20, you
anything.
should be able to beat the heck out of it.
Right. You might as well just throw
And
it
then
right
same
in a
with
tree.
same with the Z crank. Those are both new. Z crank and the X crank.
You got to go where they live,
Or
man.
Sonic.
I
side.
understand. I get it.
You got to go where they live.
Those are good looking baits. Are you just grabbing these colors, or these colors that you
I
would
just
recommend?
grabbed them. I just grabbed them.
So
How
you
many
would
colors
never,
does it come in? You think?
I think we got six of everything.
So would you ever throw this color?
Sure.
When? What is the water?
Depends
clear?
on
Depends
the
on
watercolor and the sunlight.
Water
I mean-
clarity and the bait fish.
It reminds me of that Facebook message we got. This doesn't look like an actual lure.
Oh, boy,
or it
let's
doesn't
not
look.
get into Let's
Yeah,
not
but
go
That
there.
thing's got a red eye. It's like an
We could
albino
talk for hours on
crankbait.
what matters most: color, rate of
Size.
fall, speed.
rattles,
Hammer it
more
out.
rattles.
Hammer it out. Hammer it out.
Oh, what do we
That's
got?
like a 3-hour show in itself, and
know.
we still wouldn't even be done.
I know.
We will carry the Mag Draft 6 and 8-inch swim bait. We carried that last year. That was a huge sale for us. Seller.
Nice. It's going.
The X Plos. That's their double prop.
Spy bait. Is that the
Spy
spy bait?
bait.
Yeah, that's the spy bait.
So
So who are they spying for?
You guys will fish spy baits this year, and it'll blow your circuits on how fish react to the spy bait.
So explain to me. So
We don't have one.
what a spy
We don't
bait
have
is.
one here, but a spy bait's an underwater prop bait. Well, we do have that one.
Oh,
we just
sure.
had. But the ones I've been fishing are like the jackal one or whatever. But it's an underwater prop bait. Somebody, I don't know how they invented it or whatever, but it's a real slow retrieve. It's kind of a. Would you agree? It's more targeting kind of that neutral off fish or whatever. It's
Yep.
not real aggressive in whatever phase they're in. But my God, if you can get on that bite, it's awesome. They just crush it.
if they didn't have weights in this thing, would it just be a topwater bait?
Pretty much. Well, you know what I think? I don't know. I'm not a bait designer. I'm not smart enough to know. My guess is that some of the best baits have been just lucked into. My guess is they had a prop bait because that's what it looks
Right.
like. Thing had a hole, it's full of water, and things started sinking,
Sinking,
and they
yep.
started whacking fish. I don't know if that's how it
Right.
happened, but I would guess that's how it happened.
The-
One of the best walleye colors is called. There's a blueberry muffin. It's an old reef runner color, and then there's one that's called day old muffin. It's a faded version of it. That bait came to be because somebody left it on the dash of their truck.
Right.
And the sun faded it, and they put it in the water and just started crushing fish on it. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Day
Yeah,
old. It was
let's-
in the sun. It got baked.
Let's make this one.
That's just how things
Well, the
happen.
other thing too is the color on this thing is phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah,
that
it's pretty cool
iridescence that's hidden inside that thing—that's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, here you go.
Got to keep this organized.
Keep it
Can you
organized.
pronounce that?
Yeah, I know. I'm leaving that up to you. This is a Megabass jig head.
That's
Yeah. Here,
We'll carry the screw head.
I'm sure Nathan Hahn will comment
Oh,
on
yeah.
the
Yeah,
pronunciation.
Nate will
of
be all
the-
over that.
We got the standard head and then the screw head. What's cool about this one, it's like a spy bait, but
Yep.
it's got half the blade is, one side of the blade is half the size of the other, so it's going to give it a different action.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
kind of a probably a little fast.
And I'm sure it's
slow
going to create bubbles too when it does it.
Now this is a brand new one for us,
This is going
right?
to be, yep.
That's going to be awesome.
This is going to be huge.
On Kitex.
Yep.
Put a Kitex on there. That's going to be awesome.
What the heck is that thing?
This one we carried last year. This is the body balance. Just a big jig for swim baits. You can fish it a bunch of different ways.
What's action rod are you throwing that size on?
This I'm throwing on like a big swim bait head or a big swim bait rod.
Which is a
7.6 to 7.11.
Heavy.
Heavy.
Not
Heavy.
just straight heavy.
No, you get a bite, you lean into it heavy, big time. You're not.
This is not finesse fishing.
Well, yeah, I know.
We're
That's
not
why I'm
finessing
asking.
this.
I'm asking. I mean, you got to understand. There's not everybody that's watching this
Morning,
show
Justin.
is a monster bass fisherman. You know, obviously.
Oh
like
yeah,
me.
no, for sure.
So we gotta dumb it down, and so that's why if we're catching people up, there's joiners again. I'm gonna do it like I do every week. You know, we're talking Megabass Monday with Ty. We covered some other things today. We have the TRS promo now, which is if you read it at the bottom, it's 15%.
15%.
Go out and buy some stuff. And while these guys are getting organized too, don't forget we have the affiliate program.
Right. Affiliate program, real quick, let's plug that. Affiliate program is super cool. We've had a lot of traffic, people signing up for it.
Yep.
I mean, we have, I think, 21 affiliates,
I didn't even
including
know that.
including a couple of us from the store. So
Yeah.
that's
cool.
That's really sweet. If you are interested in becoming a TRS or affiliate, the cool thing about it is it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take much time on your own. All you do is you sign up through our website, which I will put the link below. You sign up, we approve you or disapprove. Typically, it's just an approval. You get a custom link to our website. You can create your own links to our website to all of our products. Post that on social media. Give it out to your friends. If somebody wants something and they tell you, hey, I'm looking for this bait, we carry it. Do the shopping for them because guess what? You're going to get 7% back off their purchase if they purchase through your referral link.
What is our cookie duration?
60 days.
And everybody else is usually like 2 weeks to 30 days.
Yeah, it was like 20 to 40 days was a lot.
No, if you don't know what a cookie is,
basically.
You can go. I
was
going to say a cookie is a little text blurb that the website will store on your computer.
Yep.
And track. That's how all the internet tracking is done. Is through these cookies. I don't know where cookie came from. It's kind of weird sounding, but whatever. But anyway, that's what it's called. It's called a cookie. So that our website will throw that on whoever's shopping on our website.
Yep.
And if anybody buys anything, if they clicked on your link within 60 days, you're going to get credit for it.
Right. So they could, in theory, they could click on your link, not buy anything, and then a month goes by and they go, you know what, I just got paid, I have a little bit extra money, I'm going to go buy that.
Tax season coming up.
Tax season comes up, they spend the money, you just got 7% of their sales. So
well,
I mean, that's a pretty good deal for not being employed by us.
Right. I took a call from an affiliate the other day, and he's like, really, what should I do? I'm like, okay, this is all you're going to do is you're going to get it out to as many people as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. And right now, with all the discounts we have, like with ice fishing stuff per se, and then I know we're coming up real close to like Sitka going off map. So Sitka's, all you have to do is just share that link to them and tell them to, if you're looking for this product, go to the Real Shot. And you're going to help them out, and then you're going to get a little kickback on your own.
Now, here's another secret that I'm going to let people in on, knowing the marketing side and the social media side, is if you have friends that shop with us, send them the link and tell them to bookmark it. Your link will not change. So tell them to bookmark it. That gets you more money because if they use that link over and over again, that's just promoting yourself and getting your affiliate bonuses. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really beat that. It's awesome.
It doesn't cost you anything.
So I want to know, what is this?
This is actually I'm pretty
excited
about.
Is that like a just a regular stop?
Nope. This is for when you are fishing any of your swim baits.
Yeah, but Nathan pronounced it though. He typed it, but now pronounce that.
All right, we're
You mean
focusing.
the Okashira? You guys got to watch more anime, man. It's just Okashira. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so what
this is something new we're carrying this year by Jethro Baits. It's called a Snugget. So if you can put this in the front of your swim bait, you can put it in front of your horny toad, ribbit. So if you're fishing this through vegetation, through lily pads,
gives it
your bait will not get pushed down on the hook. This is awesome. I always use a big red bead in front of all my swim baits when I'm fishing through vegetation or my horny toads or ribbits. They finally came out with something. You put this in front, it hits any structure where you're fishing through stumps, and it'll just ricochet off, and your bait won't get pushed down on the hook.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I like that little stuff like that. It kind of solves a little niche, a little problem.
Yeah, because I carry a ton of just big red beads, and that's what I always put in front. This will solve it.
That's awesome.
Snuggets.
We're gonna have a hard time keeping those in stock. I bet.
Yep.
And so the other thing too is real quick is some of this stuff. I know. I'm just going to try to catch people up. I don't know what the heck you guys are talking about. It's got to make people understand. They may not be able to find all of this stuff on the website.
Most of this should be there now.
No.
Most of it should be.
But they're working hard every single day, so don't get all upset if this Ty's doing a great job of selling you this bait and you can't find it, because it's going to be there. So just be patient with us, and if you want, you can, if you're not in the area, come into the store otherwise, but just send us a message or call the store, and we'll get you in touch with this stuff. But
it's the pros and cons of growing really fast.
Right.
It's so many products so fast, it's almost impossible unless you added 20 people to get them online.
Well, and there's a couple rods that are behind me here that we're going to talk about that they're not quite on the website yet.
Okay.
So they're in store. But, yeah, just be patient. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep doing it, though. Do I have to do the Zach finger here pretty soon?
I want to show one thing real quick that just came to mind is why we're talking Megabass and Megabass as a whole and, all their related companies. Over in Japan, I don't know what is in the water besides a little bit of that, 2011 radiation going on from Fukushima, but their bass are huge over there.
Yeah.
I mean, they are monsters. I've got a picture here, and this is from just some blog about Japanese bass fishing, and that's just right on the front page. It's just that's not even an abnormal fish there.
No, they got some giants.
If you follow Megabass on Instagram and watch every day what they post for like so-and-so from this district caught this in this mud puddle, and it's just like, here's his bass, and it's the size of what we find, I don't even know around here, like the size of our carp are the size
Fish
of
is
their bass.
nuts.
Yeah, they're crazy.
That's nuts.
All right, what else we got?
Anyways, no, I'm just kidding.
The Hayes Dong swim bait. We carried the 4.2 and the 3-inch.
Can you say that on?
Say that with a straight face.
Yeah.
One more time. What was that?
Yeah, what's the name of that?
Hayes Dong.
Oh,
Yes, nice job. Well done.
Nice.
Donger.
Yeah, donger.
And then we also carry.
They got my dongers stuck in the woods. Back it up.
And then we carry the Spark Shad in 2 sizes as well.
Spark it up.
And then for worms, we carry the Cattle Tongue.
Every single one of them.
Again.
We're just
Are
gonna lose that.
those specially scented or anything? Or?
Yeah, they taste like cow
They
tongue.
smell exactly like
That smells.
That's got a
smoked
nice,
cow tongue.
like, wide
But
profile.
it's a flat.
I was going to say, it's a nice, wide, flat profile.
Yep. You could actually swim this too.
Oh, yeah. Well,
On
you could
that.
hook it either way. You could hook it vertically
Yep.
like this or sideways and get that slower fall. I like that.
All right.
What does that say? What does that say right there?
All right.
Should we take a bet on the first guest that punches Matt in the face?
See, at the beginning of the show, he was so Monday mode, and now we're just getting through it. I think his 2 or 3 5-hour energy.
Trying to keep Ty loose over
Friday
here.
mode.
All I hear is Ty
cow.
breathing into the microphone every 30
jeez.
seconds. Go ahead, Ty. Come on. Now, talk
right.
bass fishing.
We are
Get
going to
stoked.
carry the full line of Hayabusa hooks. But the one that I'm really excited about is the 1/0, 2/0, and the 3/0 in the straight shank flipping. If you do any kind of finesse flipping for smallies or largemouth, the 1/0, 2/0 I use a ton, especially in the river system. And what makes it special is when you downsize your baits, it has a monofilament keeper. So
Doesn't tear it apart.
you do not tear. I mean, you get 4 or 5 fish per bait opposed to 1 if you're using the hard plastic keeper. Plus, it's a heavier hook, so you can.
Oh,
We
okay.
always say tiptoe and pucker. I mean, you can really lean into a fish with these hooks, and they do not straighten out, even on the smaller hooks, the 1/0.
Those look nice.
Awesome.
One
What
more-
else do we got?
Well, one more time. What was the benefits of the keeper?
Mono keeper?
The mono keeper?
Mono, because it flexes and moves it, so it goes when you set the hook. Your bait, your plastic will actually shoot up the line
Oh,
right off the hook, and it doesn't rip it up.
okay.
And most of them have more of a metal, and it just tears right through the plastics.
Your
Right.
hard plastic or
We're getting down there.
the last Japanese one, the Lucky Craft, they actually came out with a square bill and dropped the price. It's $6.99 for Lucky Craft square bill. we're selling tons of these already.
Well, I think they're getting so much pressure from Strike
Yeah.
King, they had to come down in the price.
And they still have all their awesome paint jobs.
Awesome.
I mean, right now you handle the e-commerce stuff. You and Rick and a couple other people. What is there a lot of summer bass type stuff moving
Yes.
right now? I mean, obviously I know they're fishing down south.
Right now, I would say today it was probably 70% of our stuff was open water. But
Wow.
stuff that went out today.
That's awesome.
Mainly the Megabass, the Dark Sleeper.
You got people planning spring breaks coming up. You know, there's with all the tournament fishing that's going on down south.
Yeah, it's full flight. It's full swing down south right now.
From Fish Head, we got their new blade bait. It also has a blade
I was
underneath.
gonna say it's like a blade underspin.
Yeah, you got a lot of
Blade
flash
bait
on
underspin.
this.
Wow. I might have to get a couple of those.
And they also came out with the buzz bait, same
With the blade
with the blade
underneath.
underneath.
Huh.
So you got a lot of flash going on.
Is Fish Head a new company for us?
No, it's
Carried
just
them last
this
couple
is
years?
new product from them
New
that
product.
we're carrying.
So a lot of this stuff is brand new stuff that literally just came off the trucks the other day. Oh, we get to open this one up.
Yep. And this is just one of their again to use with any swim bait. You got the
beetle
underspin
spin.
underneath.
What size does that come in?
This comes in 3 sizes: 1/8, 3/16, and a quarter.
Okay.
Nice.
What is that even called? The E series hammer spin from Fish Head.
These guys that come up with these names, it's crazy. Gotta name it something. Good morning, Nick.
Then the last thing here, it's just a double for your horny toads or your ribbits or any top water, soft water, or soft bait frogs. Match this with what was the plastic?
That stopper.
The stopper.
Oh. The Jethro tall stuff.
Very cool.
Those are just open packages. Cool. Anybody, and make sure if you had any questions for Ty before we send them free here, and we got a couple more other things. Make sure you get a hold of them on the show. Yeah. Now we're talking sticks.
The new Dio rod, the Tatula XT, it's not new for them, but new for us. This will probably be our #1 selling rod. It's a $100 rod, high-end components, high-end reel seat. You got 9 eye guides, high-end graphite.
For $100.
For $100.
Ridiculous.
This is our best rod that we sell for the price.
I remember when they brought the sample in, I was like, oh my God.
I mean,
$100.
It is
What?
super light, balanced, and I like that they didn't skimp on the components, the eyes. Everybody asks, well, why do you need so many eyes on it?
Why do you need so many?
Well, the more eyes you have, it changes the action of the rod. But 2, you got more points of contact on your line, so it sends more sensitivity through the rod.
And that's a $100 rod?
That is a $100 rod.
Wow.
Tatula XT.
Nice. Now, with that rod being light, it's not like that Shimano, the Zodius, where you have to pair it with a super light reel?
You still have to match it
you still have
to keep it balanced.
So for this rod right here, obviously, unless you're going to pair it with the Shimano or the Tatula from Daiwa, what was the next reel you would pick? You know, Brian had said last week, spend more on the rod than you do for the reel, at times.
Depends what you're fishing.
If you're breaking into it, so
you disagree with that?
No.
What I said was, if a guy comes in with a budget of say
Yep.
$150, I said put $100 in the rod, $50 in the reel. That's
so
all I said.
let's carry on with that then. So let's say you have a $150 budget, right here. Bam, Ty's going to say this is the rod, and you just explain why. What reel is a perfect reel for this then? Let's say you keep it around that 150, 175 price range.
Or even go down. Even Energy PT would be a good reel setup for that.
That's a Quantum.
$100 Quantum Energy PT, $100 reel would be a good one.
Yep. But I'm asking. I'm putting you on the spot. I want specifics right here.
You want specifics?
I want a specific reel.
Energy PT.
Energy PT. Okay.
The guy's looking, doesn't want to break the
He
bank.
just upsold you $50.
Energy.
I know.
Energy PT.
It's good. I like that.
Yeah. Perfect.
Nick says you're
Not
looking.
going to buy a Cadillac and then put used tires on it.
Well, I use the same thing for bows. I mean, a bow. The next important thing besides the bow is the rest.
Yeah.
Don't skimp on the rest. You
Oh,
can
I
skimp
agree.
on other parts, and that's the same thing guys want to know.
I wasn't saying reels aren't important. I
Oh,
said
they're
if a guy
super
had a
important.
strict budget and he's trying to get a new setup, put more into the rod. Than
well,
the
with
reel.
a high-end rod comes high-end feel, and now you
agree.
put this crappy reel on there and that grinds every time you reel it. You're going to be feeling that the whole entire time. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so obviously, but I'm just wanting to know.
So what line would you recommend with that reel and that rod?
Application, right?
We could
Dude,
go
that's
for
like
hours.
a 3-hour conversation online.
And then the other rod in the Tula line is the Elite series. We carry the full line. This is their little bit higher end one, 179 to I think it was like 269.
That's got some style points to it, too.
That's pretty flashy rod. We had a guy earlier this winter looking for the more of these rods. So
we have them.
They're in now.
The whole lineup.
Ty Nick Renier says you're looking good, bro. Did you pay people this weekend to comment on all the? Jeez, I didn't think many people liked you.
Nick's one of those guys who he's real. I mean, Nick's hardcore in the bass fishing. That's what.
Oh,
he
you
does.
know him as well?
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's hardcore. He's one of those guys. If we ever want to get into which circuit's better, the MLF or the Elites or whatever,
he'd be the perfect candidate.
He's got some very, very strong feelings on that matter. Very strong.
Well, we did get asked if any affiliates will ever be on here, and most definitely.
Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you're making waves. You know, we would love to include you in anything. Just get out there and sell stuff and make your mark, and we'll get you on here.
Yep. All right. Now these are some rods. The two Megabass rods in particular are very exciting rods for you, correct?
Yep. We carry 3 in the lineup. We carry the Levante, we carry the Rachi, and the Destroyer. Levante being the lower end, that 179 price tag. Your Rachi is going to be in that 299 or 300, just say, and then your Destroyer is going to be in the 400 range.
All right. So let's go. Let's get it out of the way. Why is this $100 rod?
Your higher end graphite. That's the number one. It's going to be more sensitive, stronger.
Okay. So the
more durable.
Megabass is at almost $300 and $400.
Fit and finish. I mean, the $100 rods had good fit and finish. Ranger Nitro. I mean, I had to throw that out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you pick up this Destroyer, I mean, you can't see it on, but you see the quality and the workmanship and the rod. It's second to none.
Is this blank a different material than this blank? Or is it just like
there's
you
just
said,
higher,
the finish of it?
There's higher end graphite.
Okay. Huh.
It's hard to. I've been searching for 9 years now on a way to. It's like when we sell bows. You can shoot the bow. You can tell the difference between the $400 bow and the $1,000 bow.
Yep.
You can feel it. It's all about feel, but fishing-wise, it's very difficult to feel the difference in the graphite until you fish it. Well, it's very hard to do in the store. I mean, I've looked into simulators. I've looked into all sorts of ways to sell the rods, because if you touch the $100 rod and then you fish the $300 rod, you'll feel it instantly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just hard to show you that in the store.
Yeah, it has to be almost an application basis.
Let's build a pond. All right. I'll be in charge of the wildlife stocking. You on the financial end, and we're good.
I fish higher end rods, right? But I swear to God, there's days I can feel the fish open its mouth. I can feel the fish actually open his mouth, because when they open their mouth, they suck the water in. That's how they actually inhale the bait. I swear there's days I can, when it's real calm, not windy days, I swear to God there's days I can feel the fish open his mouth and actually the bait move in before I feel him bite it. And that's 100% due to, well, if you typically is fishing braid, and then because there's no stretch, and then the sensitivity in the rods.
I'm just reading some of these comments. So Nathan also says Megabass does their own custom reel seats. That's kind of funky the way that seat looks on there.
I mean, you get your hand, basically your fingers are right on
right on the blank, so the blank goes all the way through.
So, you know, I started fishing those favorite rods last year, and they have there's no reel seat on them. There's the clamps that hold the reel on, but there's no bump seats. Your hand's right on the graphite rod. It's pretty cool.
Oh, what are the name of those? I didn't grab one.
The favorites?
Yeah.
The Phantom. Is that what you're thinking
Phantom?
of?
It's the one you use.
The Summits, I think, aren't they?
He has the higher one.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're really cool because there's no foam on them. There's nothing. It's your hand on the rod. That's it. All they have is a little base to hold the. It's pretty cool. We'll have to get those in here someday.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, this is a favorite right here.
Yeah, this is a favorite. You were just talking about that. Now, these two that Lance had for me as I was bringing them in the room, they're not on the website yet.
Okay.
But they're working on it. Well, And I mean, I'm a 13 guy. I mean, I don't know if their rods are better than anybody else, but I just think that thing looks sweet. That green looking like this, dude. I
think I'd go blind fishing that rod.
I have a friend of mine who fishes with all green, like
really?
just lime green, everything, and it looks pretty cool when you walk up.
He throws all those yellow rods. I just be like,
this thing just looks sweet. I mean, it's an economical rod. I think it's $100 rod.
And 13 makes nice rods.
13. This is the Fate, and then the other one here is this. This is the what was this one here? The six stick. There's freaking Zach's word.
See, if you've never heard of Favorite is a imported rod from the Ukraine, I believe. There's very few dealers in the area that carry these, and they don't market them anywhere other than on social media.
Social
YouTube.
media.
Yep.
If you're familiar with like the Guggen Squad guys, that's where these rods came from. They started making them popular. And actually, my son's the reason we have them in here.
They're flashy. I mean, like they're all the foam, if they have it, is typically either color matched or like that camouflage, like urban camouflage. Yep. Carbon fiber accents on everything.
Awesome.
I mean, they're sexy. Like they are a sexy
They are the
rod.
most sensitive rod I've ever fished. The favorites. The only knock I have on them is they don't have enough actions for some of the different tactics we use around here. They're a little light on their actions, in my opinion. But other than that, they're fantastic rods.
I like them because most of them come with their rod cover.
They do.
That's pretty cool too. But the Megabass ones do as well, right?
Yes,
they
they
have
do.
a lot nicer rod cover.
For $3, you're going to get a rod cover.
Well, you'd hope so.
Right.
It's kind of the standard.
You'd hope so.
So now you've got a list here of all of the other Megabass that we don't have in yet, but that's on order.
This
correct?
is our Japan orders, direct from Japan, and we'll be carrying the knuckle in both the junior and standard size. That's just square bill. The pivot, the top water, the pony frog, the scream double prop balsa bait. That's top water. The survival jig in both the 3/8 and ½ ounce, the teaser hooks, and we'll also have the replacement hooks for your 110s. The twister, that's going to be crawbait plastic, and the tournament crawler, finesse plastic, and the X-Wave. That's all still coming.
All from the Megabass lineup.
Yes.
Yep. See, the Megabass thing's unique for us. I only know of one other big online retailer that sells a lot of Megabass. So other than them, this is pretty much the only other place you're going to find a lot of this stuff.
Are there any other new exciting bass companies that we partnered up with, or any not maybe we partnered, but that we're carrying this year?
None that I can think of.
Well, I know that Tony, he's a Omega
we're
jigs.
carrying Omega.
We're going to carry the Omega stuff.
Yep.
We'll put that order through. I'm just curious if there's anything else that's...
Oh, I thought you meant like new companies.
Well, yeah,
new
companies
there's not a whole lot of
baits.
new companies we're carrying stuff from. We're expanding our lineup in all the companies.
We're just going deeper. From
carry everything.
Okay.
Instead of having one or two niche things from one company, we're carrying that company's whole lineup now. That's really what we're doing.
And the reason we're doing that is because of customer feedback.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of a destination for some people on that. So again, thanks to the customers, they're allowing us to have more product for you to shop. We have one competitor in mind, and that we're trying to be as good as them, if not better, locally as well. A lot of people say, we appreciate the fact that you have all these high-end bass baits because we can only look at them on their website.
Well, there's nowhere else that you can go and touch and see this stuff.
And
other than
in this
online,
area,
for the most part.
and people are more than welcome to drive from all over the place and come, but we have a brick and mortar where this other place does not, right?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, do they?
It's in California.
Oh, yeah, well,
that helps us.
yeah, we're winners.
But no, I get where you're going.
Yeah,
though.
we're trying to.
It's great because there's
not to say names, but yeah,
the nice thing is we're moving more from what I see on the third parties. We're moving very heavy into the online retailer space, and it's just the way business goes these days.
Yep.
But to be able to back that up with a brick and mortar store that where we were founded, in this Fox Valley area, the people here can still reap those benefits of having a brick and mortar store in their backyard.
And like you see with all the different circuits and the MLFs, and the bass is just exploding.
Yes.
I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger all the time. There's more clubs popping up in the state all the time. There's new bass circuits popping up in the state. I mean, it's in a very, very healthy position right now, which is a great spot for us to be in, too.
Right.
So.
I did share to our Real Shot Facebook page that Mike Iaconelli.
Oh, where he lost his mind?
Yeah, where he lost his mind. I think it's a lot more reserved than what TJ was saying. But that was pretty cool.
Yeah, he didn't go full on Ike.
No.
Because full on Ike, he would have started breaking stuff.
But you don't know how much. Well, I suppose they couldn't really cut it away. But maybe afterwards.
So at that point, I almost feel like he was even more mad. That's why he didn't freak out. He was actually.
Do you know the story behind this? Mm-hmm. So Brian, you talk about it better.
Well, he thought so there's in the MLF format, there's the live scoring, right? Well, he thought he made the top 10 cut for day 4. And he was sitting there, and he knew there was a time limit, and he kind of waited, and he's sitting there, and he was waiting. He kept checking with the scorekeeper if there was any updates, whatever. But 5-6 minutes go by, and he's starting to feel pretty good. I made the cut, top 10, I'm in it, I'm fishing for $100,000 tomorrow. Just as he's about ready to leave the head end, the guy says, no, you got bumped out. And Ike, he lost it. Started dropping F-bombs on stream.
Well, they were trying to bleep him out, and they kept missing.
He must have been pretty shallow because he just hammers down and just mud flying everywhere.
Yeah, that was. Well, and then I don't know if I shared the other one, but then the finish where Jordan Lee wins it.
Yeah.
If I didn't share that one yet, I will.
It was pretty cool.
That was pretty sweet too. Just like we were talking about the raw emotion. This guy won $100,000, and the scoring is still live. And all of a sudden. Do you know that story as well? Oh my God! That one
he's busy shipping in it.
I know, but that one's really cool because that one was what he's up.
Yeah, he's up
He's
up
with like 8 minutes left in the tournament. Yep. He had like a 8-pound lead, right?
So I think it was it was about 8 pounds, and he had that 2-minute penalty.
Yeah, so he hooks a fish like a 2-pounder, brings it in the boat, it drops down the boat floor. So that's a 2-minute penalty. So he's sitting there waiting for 2 minutes to go by. While Edwin Evers is throwing, and he's in a good fish area, like he's on fish. I don't think he hooks any though in that 2 minute.
I think he caught one maybe right away in the beginning, then his bite kind of slowed down.
Yep.
But it's pretty cool.
So then the cool part is as soon as Jordan Lee's 2-minute penalty ended, like they're like 5-4, he grabs the rod, chucks it, boom, 3-pounder.
Next cast.
That won it. Well, he was up already, but it just gave him the cushion.
Put the nail in the coffin, basically.
And then, like I was telling Brian and Zach while we were watching this, you can see the difference between like Jordan once he hooks that 3-pounder, and then Edwin because like Evans is burning stuff. He's just casting.
You can see the pace was picking up.
Then while cool. It's like Jordan Lee's just taking his leisurely time. This real and nice and soft. And I'm like, you got to know that's got to affect how the fish sees that bait. So it's pretty.
See, that's where I knew Nick was. If Nick was still watching, he was gonna. Nick is hardcore. It's BASS. He loves the elites, and that's great.
Oh, the minnow fishing league. That's funny.
Well, that's the big knock on the MLF is that they're fishing for 51 pounders, where the elite guys are fishing for 5 big fish.
Right.
I mean, my opinion is I just want to see the action. I don't really get into it. I'm not going to sit there and watch it all weekend regardless.
I'll watch Bassmaster more if they get better commentary.
Yeah, whatever. I can see sides of both of it, right? As a guy who grew up fishing tournaments, I can see the allure from the angler side to go catch the 51-pounders because, that argument's going to go down forever. Who's the better angler, the guy that can catch 50 fish or the guy that can catch 5 big ones?
5 big ones,
I don't know who the better one is. I don't know.
It's a lot more exciting when you're watching them,
See, my argument is the argument's going to obviously, the guy who catches the 5 big ones, or does that guy get lucky and get 5 bites and now he coasts? Or the other guy, because if you listen to the guys that fish the MLF, their big thing right now is you can never stop catching fish.
Right.
Because you might catch 4 or 5 big ones, but that guy, if he's just pounding on them, he can catch you.
Well, especially in states like Texas and Florida, where there's an 8-pounder around almost every corner. There's a lot of big fish down there. Where if you have an 8-pound cushion. That's not. I think
this maybe we'll have to get Nick in here. We'll have this conversation. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Because I'm not against one or the other. I just have maybe a little different viewpoint coming from the walleye world and coming from days where, I didn't win the tournament because some guy got lucky on one. He caught 5 fish all day.
Right.
Got lucky. I caught 70 fish. I finished 20th. Well, is he better than me or not?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I mean, maybe if he was on that big school, but a lot of times the guy that wins that 5-fish tournament just got lucky.
You know what they should do?
Maybe luck is prepared, right? There's always that argument about, luck favors the prepared. Well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe I suck. I don't know, but that's just my opinion.
They take the winner from each tournament, and then those two go head to head.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
And then, the guy from the Bassmaster tries to catch as many fish And then the guy from MLF tries to catch 5.
You know, it's really funny that you brought that up is because I was watching this weekend now that I finally, for the first time in my life, have cable TV.
Oh, yeah. Good for you. Welcome to 2019.
I know. We're here.
You're into cable and everyone else is going into streaming TV.
Right. Well, technically I'm streaming cable.
Oh, okay.
So I'm streaming cable, so it's still 2019. But no, what I was watching yesterday was they have this racing series. Everybody take a drink for cars. But it's actually crazy
because exactly what you're sales.
Oh yeah, well I thought we were changing the rules. Yeah. But either way, I'm watching this, and at first I thought I was watching rallycross, where they have a couple rally cars go head to head on a small track, and then the camera zoomed out because I had just turned it on, and I realized I'm like it's not that at all. What they're doing is they're taking all these drivers from the best of the best. So they had Formula 1 drivers, rally car drivers, rallycross drivers, NASCAR drivers, and they have these courses that are set up as mirrored tracks. Each driver goes an opposite way on the track, and they have to race head-to-head for the best time, so they all launch at the same time and cross the line almost at the same time, and then they mark that. So what you were saying with MLF versus Bass, this is what's happening. Formula 1 driver goes up against a rally champion. Who knows what's going to happen?
Right.
Who knows?
And that's exactly what you're saying is, if we could come up with a third circuit.
Well, there is a third, the FLW.
Oh, right.
There's already 3.
Or what I'm saying, though, okay,
like a whole different
thing where they take the
platform.
fishermen from each one and try to duke it out. I think that'd be
cool.
interesting.
All right, well, Nick, if you're still on here, shoot me a message. We'll get you on. We'll have that whole conversation. That'd be fun. I mean, I like the different opinions on it, right? I mean, that's what's cool about it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I think the tournament fishing thing's really cool. Obviously, I'm always into that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
it makes it a little more exciting. It's going to be even more exciting when we're going to get to witness it firsthand.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
With the Wisco Bass Series. So, hey, Mackenzie, she just joined in.
Oh, nice.
From still in Hawaii, I think. You know.
That she sucks.
Yeah. But cool, again, we appreciate everybody joining in, and we're going to wrap this one up. We got Wednesday coming up with Mark Druick.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one.
Talk a little bit about TRS history, how we got, because Mark's been with me. So he was the second person I hired.
Really?
When I started the business was Mark, yeah. So he's been here literally since day one.
Yep.
So that'll be a good show.
And then we don't know what exactly we're talking about on Friday. I can't remember, but we're going to join.
TJ's
going to be on.
So we'll be talking about
I don't remember the main topic, but yeah. So TJ's going to be on Friday. So again, Wednesday at 10, we're going to have Mark Druick on, and then Friday we're going to be talking to TJ again, because now this starts week 2 of the MLF.
Starts tomorrow.
And they're going to be finishing
Texas.
Yep. So we just wrapped up Florida, and now we're heading to Texas. So again, he's last time when we saw my video, it was like suntanned and
I know.
I punched that guy in the face too. So anyways,
there's a lot of aggression.
I know. I'm like, ugh, these guys were jealous.
That's what happens. You get all guys are on, just all this testosterone flowing.
Drinking 5-hour energies. Shots.
All right, sounds good.
Cool, Ty. Thanks for joining us, buddy. You did a great job.
Good job, Ty.
Now you got it out of the way, and you can be on here a lot more.
Perfect. See, it's not that bad, was it?
It wasn't.
You did a great job introducing the lures.
It's all Matt. Matt makes us all feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, that's why I ask stupid questions. So you guys look at me like, why would you ask that question?
Oh, shoot.
And then you're like, okay. Anyways, so, Zach, do your spiel.
I have a spiel?
Yeah, your like, share, comment.
Okay. Well, yeah, no. Go ahead, like this post. No, for real though.
Take that over.
Yeah, we'll take her down. So basically, guys, remember we have a ton of social media accounts now. So head over to YouTube, find The Real Shot, Instagram at TRS Outdoors. Give us a follow, like our stuff, and help us promote. If you're somebody who does a lot of fishing, does a lot of hunting, very active on social media, please reach out to us on our affiliate program, or if you're interested in it and you can't find it on the website, reach out to us on Facebook, and we will get you hooked up with that application. Remember, every like counts, every share helps, so please remember to like, share, and comment on all of our stuff, and stay active in our TRS little community that we're building here.
Yeah,
and
I got one other thing real quick, because Corey Hansen says it's always good to see Ty. He knows his stuff. So I don't know if you even know this, but March 21st or 22nd is your 5-year anniversary here at The Real Shot.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, congratulations. Thank you
That's
very
awesome.
much.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you very much. I think it's important for people to know Ty's still around here.
Yes.
Because he's behind a lot of this bass assortment expansion and
He's
stuff.
He's just behind the scenes more. You're like me. You know, we hit the sales floor every once in a while. You're a little more than I am. You know, like I had a customer, Dale Schmidt, say the same thing. He's like, where are you? I never see it. We're still here.
Well, they'll see a lot of you if they're on Facebook.
yeah, get on Facebook. But anyways, so yeah, it's awesome that you're, you know,
5 years, that's a pretty big milestone, so thank you very much.
Phenomenal.
It's awesome.
Couldn't
All
ask
right,
for a better
sounds
dude.
good.
Awesome.
So.
Well, we are signing off, so remember, like, share, subscribe, follow us everywhere, and have a good week.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
See you Wednesday.
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys Wednesday.